Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 64 of Direwolf20's Not Too Complicated series. I always get excited at episode 64 because we have a full stack of episodes. That's always a good number. So hey, look at this. I've been tick accelerating this little thing to help speed up my block of gold situation, and we've now got 700 compressed blocks of gold. That's pretty nice. Yeah, it's I love tick accelerating. It's just the best. It's 100% Dire style to tick accelerate all the things, and just having the Watch of Flowing Time be able to do it is super cool. I mean, it would be a little bit cooler if I could have a little bit more control around exactly which blocks get tick accelerated by this thing. So that I could very specifically whitelist and be like, hey, I want to control this block, this block, this block, and this block, and that's it. And like not tick accelerate, you know, in an area. I feel like that would be cool. Maybe that's a mod Dire's gonna have to make. Controlled tick accelerating by Direwolf20. Ticking gadgets. CCL keeps catching a few render crashes going on from some. I think they're generally botany pots. I don't know what's causing it. It started happening recently. Probably just reloading the game would probably solve it, but I don't feel like doing that right now. So we're gonna proceed with today's episode, and if the game crashes, then you know why. So between episodes, basically just sat around and did nothing. But we're ready to make a couple of watches of flowing time, because as much as I'm enjoying these, we need more. So if I asked for 2, would that be like a thing we can accomplish? It seems like it. So I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna ask for 2 watches of flowing time. So let's hit the start button on that bad boy and see how that goes. Now to get this cooking properly, this watch of flowing time came from... See, this is why... See, this would have been voided if I had not whitelisted this. Everybody made fun of me for not remembering blacklisting, apparently, on the... No. I very specifically was careful about things. If I was not careful, then I might have just voided my Watch of Flowing Time. See? That's why you be careful whenever you're piping into a trash can. So I'm going to just put you back over here, because we're going to have a lot of this stuff to make. So the Watch of Flowing Time... crafting should be in progress, which is exciting. The one thing I would love to see fixed is if I'm looking at a specific crafting CPU in Flight Energistics, it always flickers for other things. It's super annoying. But yeah, no, we're cruising right along here, aren't we? Sweet. I'm excited about this stuff. Let's go over here and see if we can find the actual crafter that's doing this actual craft, so we don't see that flickering happening. There it is. Nice. So clearly producing lots of stuff here, right? We're making our Mark III antimatter relays. We're making our end steel ingots, a lot of them. We have enhanced ender ingots on its way. Some ender resonators need to be made. There's a lot of stuff. Ognessen, cool. So we're crafting some of that, which is awesome. And that's taking a while because, again, I borrowed the tick accelerator from here. So this is why we're making more watches of flowing time, because, you know, we have quite a few areas that are a little bit slow. So what I'm going to probably do is let this thing finish making all of its end steel or whatever it's making. So it's working on 192 stellar alloys. When that's done, I will probably move my watch of flowing time back over to the fusion guy so he can go back to making more Ognessen and other things. Deal? I think that's a very good deal. Should be fine. Cool. I'm excited about this. So this looks like it's working, right? Soul Steel's a little slow. Did I see that there's a faster Soul Steel recipe? Or did we already move the Soul Steel recipe? Did we move the Soul Steel recipe? We haven't yet. Is Soul Steel a thing we can make in the induction smelter now? So we could do that. 2, 1, 1 makes 4. 2, 1, 1 makes 4. In theory, I should be able to just move this recipe right into here, and it would work. In theory. And it would probably be faster than this process. Especially if I did a little bit of that. Oh my, look at you. Close to having enough power. Close to having enough power. I tick accelerated him a little too much. That's what I do. Okay, yeah, I was just checking. It's been so long since I've looked at any of these machines, I'm like, how do they work again? That's pretty good. Alright, so if we're looking at this guy, how many more of these do you need to make? See, this is what I'm talking about, this flicker. I've just always dealt with it, but, like, it's super annoying if we're being honest. Not a good way to actually measure stuff. Should be fine, though. We'll see. You're making... Wow, we have a lot of ender ingots to craft. I feel like we're going to be sitting here. Oh, look, Enderium's almost done at least, though. That's the one that it's currently working on. Sweet. Awesome. So this should be almost done. Yeah, wow, it's catching a lot of block rendering exceptions. Which is funny, it only started happening once I opened to land for last episode, when I had to cheat in some universal mass. That's when it started happening. Weird that that would happen like that. But, meh. Not going to worry too much about it. Let's come back in a minute when we're ready to do things. I'm specifically thinking what we want to do. Let's... Are you done? I think you're done with this guy, right? You have no more crafting to do here. So I'm going to borrow this guy and stick him back over here. And then we'll be back once crafting is complete. Alright, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, we have 2 watches of flowing time. Ha 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 ha! I have become the master of time! Which is exciting, because now I can tick accelerate all the things that I've been running around, you know, moving this thing around to, right? So I'm not going to re-tick accelerate my gold block production unless we get to the point where we use a lot of what we have. But if we look at our gold blocks, we are at 721 of those, which we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 18, 36, and a few more. So let's call it 46 to 50-ish. Let's say 50, right? You know what else I could do? This will tell me exactly how many I need. 56, right? So I currently have enough to make 10 more watches of flowing time, and I mean, more like 12 or maybe even 15. So we have enough, you know, 5x gold blocks for now. But I definitely want this thing to remain tick accelerated because this thing has always been super slow for me. So tick accelerating this machine will be nice. Sweet. So we've got tick acceleration going. And we can always tick accelerate something like this, don't forget. And then things get really bananas. If you thought we were getting a lot of EMC before, when I upgrade these things, it's going to be a whole nother ballgame. Now talk to me about Colossal Star Omegas. I thought... How do I have... Oh, because they have EMC on them. Well, that's exciting. That is exciting, isn't it? And now I turned this guy off, right? But yes, I forgot they have EMC on them now, the Colossal Stars. Do these guys also? No, just the Omegas and this guy. So if I crafted one of these... right? And put it in the thing, it now has EMC, so we really don't need to craft them no more, right? That would be the theory. Looks like we don't have too much of this crafting, and again, it's tick accelerating, so that's nice. How are we on watch? No, time in a bottle singularities. We're at 19 of those, so that was cool. And done? Nah, we have 24 million of them. Look at that. So I guess by virtue of the fact that I crafted one, the EMC system knows about it, and therefore it automatically learned it. That's kind of cool. That's exceptionally cool. How hard was it to make more of these, by the way? Like, if I still wanted to make one of these... a little bit of a mess. Klein Star Omegas. You should probably have that happen. So now you know how to do Klein Star Omegas. So does that make that a little bit easier? Like, can I still do this? That ain't bad. That ain't bad, right? Okay, so hold on, because I want the quest completions, right? Just because. But if I want the Zwei, and I hit start on that, sweet. And then the dry, is that the next one? And then this guy. And then this guy. That won't take too long to craft, right? Sweet. Magnum Star Omega, quest complete. Awesome. Now I can do the next ones, the Colossal Stars. So I just want to teach this to... I want the quest complete. It's annoyed me that it was hard before the pack updated again to do this, but now that things are a little bit better, pack-wise... Cool. So now, if I want Ein, Zwei, Dry, Veer, Sphere. It'll only take a second, by the way, right? And then Omega. Boom, quest complete. Look at that, we did it all. Now we can get the final star, right? So because these guys have EMC, we don't have to craft them anymore. So the final star is literally just the ultimate block. So all we have to do is teach you how to make an ultimate block, which is just that, right? So we take our ultimate ingots, we hit this button, and now we know how to make ultimate blocks, right? So then we come over here and say, I want an ultimate block, please. Now it's going to do a lot of this, but that's okay. Let's go babysit it for a minute, because ultimately you're making 4 of the ultimate ingots all at once. So I just want to make sure, we tested this last episode. I want to make sure that this guy doesn't have any, issues, let's just say. But so far he seems to be behaving. I'm just going to babysit this for a little bit. How is my crafting system behaving? Is it making more of these at the moment? It is. I kind of want you off. I feel like we have enough of this for now, and it's just annoying to me that every time I look in the crafting system, it's making that stuff. But now it's also making time in a bottle constantly too, which is just not ideal either. But this guy seems like he's behaving, which is super cool. Okay. Alright, we'll be back in a minute when this is done crafting, or if it gets gummed up, to fix the fact that it can get gummed up. We'll figure out which of those two things is going to happen in about 5 minutes, because I suspect it'll be a few for all this crafting to occur. So, be right back. Alright, now here's the thing. The final shard does not have an EMC value, which makes sense because the ultimate block doesn't have an EMC value, so therefore it shouldn't. But, ooh, we did the thing. Look at that. We completed all the Klein stars. How cool is that? Now, the final shard can be used to make Mark 16 collectors, which is awesome. Can be used to make Mark 16 EMC links, which we will need if we want the Mark 16 final power flower, which, by the way, gives 2 quadrillion EMC per second. Remember before when I said I had, like, almost 2 quadrillion EMC? And that's been, like, what's been accumulating forever? Oh, that's quintillion. What's bigger? Quintillion's bigger than quadrillion. Okay, but still, it's a lot. It's a lot. That's a lot. And then the Klein star spheres, we've got 6,000 of those, because those are 422 trillion EMC each, right? All right, so everything went pretty smooth here, to the point where I even requested a second one. So let's see, another final sphere. So now we've got 2 of these. I guess they don't stack. Okay, cool. Didn't they make like a final star or something? Wasn't there a final star? The final star. It does nothing but exist to show off. It exists to show off. Okay, so the final star does absolutely nothing. But you need the Mark 16s and the Ultimate Singularity. So you need 8 Mark 16 power dudes, which is going to be a lot of these final shards. But I don't know if we're going to do that. Mostly it just... no reason. Maybe. We'll see. So the crafting is working great. The Ultimate Block, I have yet to see a gum up, which I very much appreciate. What if I want like 11 of these? So we're going to be missing a few chemicals, a little bit of titanium, A little bit of radon. Titanium I can handle. What else am I missing? Chlorine. Really? Don't I have like tons of chlorine? Whatever. And remember, I'm asking for a lot here. Thulium and neodymium. And my goal with this is I'm going to teach the system how to handle that. Mendevilium. Oh, you know what? I'm betting some of these are probably, yeah. So let's do this, right? Here's what I'm thinking. Let's teach you how to make neodymium, right? 16. Silicon, mercury, and neodymium comes from ender pearls, right? So I'm going to start teaching this guy at this point how to do this. So one ender pearl will make... this might be right-clickable. Can I do this? U plus? Yay, it works. So this is a good example of one because remember, applied energistics can only handle 3 outputs for things. So by doing this, it's going to make my life kind of cool. So what I'm going to do is break that, and let's do an interface. Now the problem is that feeding into the drawer controller is going to have the same kind of problem that we had over here. But effectively, what we want to do... I want to say there's no second tier of this, but we want to make sure... See, if I tell you to make this, right, he's not going to realize that he got completed unless he goes through an interface. And for him to go through an interface, it's going to be a challenge. So what I should do is add a new one of these. So rather than doing this here, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Boop, boop, boop. You're going to be... Get these guys back. Do I still have one of those over here? I do. Okay. So this guy has no patterns, right? So what I'm going to do is literally just this. So now, if I want ultimate blocks times 11, we're going to have a shorter list of things we don't have. So we do want to figure out radon and chlorine, because I'm pretty sure we weren't making chlorine. Titanium I will handle, right? So let's do this. You know how to make titanium, right? Yes. So let's put you, like, you know how to craft titanium ingots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this. Okay. And then I'm going to put that in the chemical dissolver that has the same with the ender pearl, right? Now when I say ultimate, now I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to not have things in there that might have excess junk, like the molecules, the combined, like these things as outputs, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so now if I want 10 of these, we should be cool on the titanium bit. Chlorine we're still low on. Thulium we might be low on. And that might be because we're low on chlorine, but we'll see. But we're not bad. See, these things are made, I think. Barium, maybe? I'm just going to put the ones that I don't think. Manganese? Or magnesium. Potassium. See, there's a lot of stuff that we need to handle here. What else was there up top? Radon. And I'm pretty sure when I was making most of these, I was going for stuff that I knew I had a bunch of. But let's see what happens. So chlorine, we can get... Is there anything that directly gets us chlorine as an item? Or chlorine was just a side effect of all the other things we were making? That's fine. We could always fission it out of something... Selenium, arsenic. Bromine comes from magma blocks in a very small amount. Selenium comes from prismian shards, but in a pretty small amount. Tropical fish gets you 2 selenium. 4 from cooked salmon. 4 from netherwort, which also gets me germanium, which I kind of like. I might want netherwort for this. Let's do that. Let's do netherwort in this guy. Okay. And that will get you both germanium and selenium. Wasn't germanium one that I needed or not really? Okay, and then chlorine came from selenium. And that can go into my fission guy. Because this is the part of the automation system I built over here that I never really took care of, is we were counting on having a bunch of some of these resources, but now we're realizing that we're going to need even more of them, right? So that should be cool. So I want this as fully automated as possible, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. So now if I want 11 of these guys, you need thulium still, but you shouldn't need chlorine anymore. And you need magnesium still. Do we still need barium? We need radon. Mendelvium and barium. But Mendelvium is from a craft, right? I think. I hope. And then potassium we still need. Okay, so we have to figure these out real quick. So let's do thulium comes from an ingot or soul sand, which is not ideal. I don't love that. And there's really no fission way to get thulium either. I might need a few more fusion options. I didn't do this, but I think we might need to. So give me a sec to look at thulium. Thulium is 69. So 69 would be a nice combination of... Let's see. We could do potassium, which is 19, and 50, which is 10. That might work. But we got to figure out potassium first, because we need some more of that anyway. So where did potassium come from in my chemical dissolver? There's a potassium ingot, and it's a lot of splits. Oh, potatoes have a 25% chance to get you 5 potassium. I like that. All right, I'm going to use potassium. I'm going to use potatoes, and then that gets me the thulium as well. So now we're just short on magnesium, radon, barium, and mendelvium. I don't know why mendelvium's a thing. Oh, that comes from wither skeleton skulls. That's why. Aha, that's why we didn't... Okay, no, that makes more sense. Okay, so let's do mendelvium as the recipe from wither skeleton skulls, right? So that should be that. And we get a healthy amount of it, by the way. We get 32 per skull, so that's nice. Now, we do have some, like, hydroxypolite and starch and cellulose. So a couple of these are breaking the rule of let's not have too many of them, but I'll deal with that in a minute. Okay. Radon comes from what? Oh, that's dragon's breath on the chemical dissolver, right? How much dragon's breath do we have? So it doesn't have an EMC value. It needs dragon scales, which don't have an EMC value. And dragon scales, is this the one that uses? No, it's this one, the one we have less of? No, it's this one that we have more of. Which dragon scale is this? How many dragon scales we got? 138 dragon scales is what we have. So maybe radon would be better made in the combiner, dude. So what if we did... Radon is 86. So what if we did 79 or 80 is a good one to go for 86? So that would be 16, which is chlorine, or 16, which is sulfur. I'm going to do that. Actually, it's 6 for 80, which is carbon. Yeah, so mercury plus carbon equals radon. I like that plan. So radon is mercury plus carbon, and that handles radon. So magnesium comes from... That we should also... Mineral salt, but no, we should... Did I not? Vanadium, manganese, chromium. Well, radon's covered. Chromium? We have a lot of that. Comes from emeralds, generally. Okay. I might be able to go that right. Or what I could probably just do, magnesium. You know what? It's carbon. Well, we don't want to have the same. We don't want to have the same number. Remember we ran into that before? How about beryllium and oxygen? Yeah, we could do that. So let's do that. So oxygen plus beryllium, 8 and 4, is magnesium, which is 12. Okay. And then barium, which is 56. Where were you coming from before? Quartz has barium in it? Because that's kind of cool. Well, blocks of quartz do. I assume, yes, quartz does. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in here for the nether quartz, making barium and silicon dioxide. You two are going to be fusion recipes, right? And then the only other thing we're going to need, so I'm going to ask for, if I ask for 11 of these, it should be fine, but I don't actually want 11 of these right now. Yeah, see, now we're good. Now we're good. What I'm going to ask for is 5 of them. And that's probably going to craft a bunch of this silicon dioxide type stuff, okay? Now go with me on this. You know what? Maybe I will just say forget it and do all 11. Let's do all 11. Let's go for broke, right? Make 11, call it a day. Right? Now what should be happening is a lot of fusion, but also a lot of this, right? So this is making a lot of this happen. That's fine, okay? What I want to look at is something like this. You ready? If we ran this dude with an export card, but not crafting, just exporter, and acceleration cards, okay? But not crafting, because we don't want it to craft these items. We want it to take the items that got crafted and process them into their respective dudes, right? So I'm going to do that. You know what? I'm probably going to need a capacity card. Give me 2 of them. So 2 capacities, 2 accelerations. That should be fine. Cool. That works. All right. So if we look at ChemLib, right? Here's all of our elements from the periodic table, right? Now, it might be alchemistry. Oh, it probably hasn't started making them yet? Is that the problem? Yeah, it might be it. It's not making them yet? Okay, that's cool beans. What I might do is throw this buddy over here. That should be a lot faster, right? Now I want another watch. Or 2. We're missing crystal shards because... Why are we missing crystal shards? Oh, we're just missing crystal shards. It's another one for me to figure out how to automate in a better way. Pulse centrifuge. Crystal shards. We can dupe them? I hate these recipes. Applied energistics and refined storage never respond well to this kind of recipe. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going to have to automate that. And it takes 180 ticks. That's not that bad. Something we'll have to deal with. Do I have enough for one more watch or not really? Yeah, I do. Make it so. All right, cool. So then your chemical dissolving is all done. We come over here and we look again at ChemLib. Really? Did you not make a bunch of these things? I thought you would. Maybe it hasn't gotten around to it yet. That's probably what's happening. Hasn't gotten around to needing that stuff yet. Now, I think we can double tick accelerate this, by the way. Just in case anybody was wondering if that's a thing you can do. I believe the answer to be yes. I can't tell if it's faster, but I have a feeling it's faster. I'm just saying. Let's go look at this guy and see where we're at. It's gonna get ridiculous here. But like, I'm pretty sure what happens is that the watch of flowing time affects the other watch of flowing time, and they both like super. But yeah, look how much per killing we're getting. Like, it's just zoom, crushing it. That's awesome. So like to do is a lot of crafting. I bet all the compounds haven't been made yet. It's probably all scheduled. Look how much crafting there is. But it's all working. See, yeah, look, silicon dioxide is going to be to do. It's probably, you know what? It'll unlock these once all the crafting is actually complete, and that's when it'll all dump into my system. How are we for drives? Yeah, we have plenty of drive space. That shouldn't be a problem. So how are we doing here? You think this is an accurate estimate with the whole 11 minutes thing? It might be. Are you done with all your stuff? Sweet. Hoping it's working. I don't know. I'm a nerd. I find this stuff fun to watch. But I guess you guys might be getting bored by now, so I'll come back if something interesting happens. But at this point, I'm just watching these numbers change. Like I said, I'm a nerd, but it's so satisfying to see these, you know, it complete this little, like, bismuth, right? It's got about 100 left to make. Watching it disappear there, it's so satisfying. It's so cool. It's like, oh, one less thing for the crafter to make. Here it goes. Goodbye, bismuth. So now what are you working on last here? You're doing a little bit more nobelium, which you have about 1,400 of those to craft. And actually, you're getting pretty close to being done here. Sweet. I'm not going to watch a flowing time that thing. I feel like that would just be, like, too absurd at that point. This is the nobelium going in, and I think this is the nobelium being made, right? 101 plus 1 is 102. Yep. That would be that number. You're also making some more potassium, which I'm a little bit worried about because, like, you should have been done with the potassium by now. Because potassium is straight up coming from potatoes. And why? Potassium. Oh, I know why. Hold on. It's a 25% chance, isn't it? That's your problem. Yep, that's why. That's a mistake on my part. I did not recognize that. That is a derp for me. Potassium chloride. Potatoes only have a 25% chance to give you potassium. Okay. So potassium's 19, so I might fusion up that thing. So let's do this. 19 could be what? Do we have a lot of boron? No. Do we have lithium? We have a lot of lithium. So it could be sulfur plus lithium. That would probably be the best way to go. For potassium. That's going to have to be another fusion guy. So this goes away. And we're going to say sulfur 16 plus lithium, which is 3, will make 19, which is potassium. Yeah, see, right now this guy's confused because he's like, I'm expecting like 4,000 more potassium and I'm not getting it, Direwolf. What's up with that? So are you still making things? You're still making some arsenic, which is cool. But otherwise, you're mostly done. When this is all done and he gets stuck as a result of a lack of potassium, I'm going to cancel the craft and then resume it, and it should pick up where it left off, right? And then most of what we have to handle is potassium. but we'll see what happens here in a minute when arsenic's done. There should be nothing more crafting at this point. Actually, I lied. Flerovium is going. Okay, give it a few minutes, be right back. Yeah, I think my fusion reactor is actually a pretty big bottleneck. I'm debating if I want, like, more fusion chambers. Because even tick accelerated, we're making thousands of these at a time. It's not that big of a problem. Because remember, I did ask for 10 of these. And I might cancel this real quick, just cause. But if I cancel you real quick, will you be cool? Yeah, just cancel them. I'm just gonna hit it. So if I hit... ChemLib. We now have silicon dioxides, we have these guys, and we have these guys, the starches from the potatoes, which won't be too much of a problem for too long. Is there any other big dudes in here? No, I don't think so. So let's start with, hey, ultimate. Just give me like 5 of these, okay? We're gonna go with 5 to make it a smaller craft set. He still has a lot of crafting to do, but I'm just being impatient because it's getting to be that point. And then you are going to handle the whole, this, and this thing. So this should start cleaning up from my AE system any ChemLib resources that are like this, right? So that's going to get cleaned up, and then this dude's going to get next. Or one of these two is going to go next. In theory. Oh, once he's done processing his stack. Which, if I needed to, I could time in a bottle, or I could watch a flowing time this, but it doesn't matter. See, that's... Oh, you do split, don't you? Okay. So you should be going... Yes, you do. Perfect. Yippers. Sweet. I might... That's not bad. Yep. Cool. All clean. See how it's cleaning it all out now? It's turning it all into individual these dudes, which is then going into that dude over there. Presumably. What I can occasionally do is just disable that thing and make sure he's behaving. But let's go check in on this process right now. Okay, cool. Here it is. So what it's currently cooking up. All right, molybdenum. Molybdenum. My favorite. All right, back in a few when it's almost done. How broken would it be to put a third watch of flowing time over here? I'm just asking for a friend, I guess. I'm watching. It's easier to tell by watching the numbers how much that's helping. I don't know. That may not be any faster than it was before. 1 is definitely slower than 2. I can't tell if 2 is slower than 3, but I'm going to assume it's not. You know what? Probably not, at least. I don't know. And I made a 4th one, didn't I? Yes. I stole the 3rd one from the, from that guy. But we got to wrap up the episode here, and I feel like... We're getting pretty tight. But having 4 of them just feels a little ridiculous, right? It does. I don't think 4 is any much faster than 2. I might be wrong. It feels pretty fast. So see that? Let's compare it to having just 2. Pretty similar, right? It's barely noticeable. If it's faster, it's not that much faster. But trust me that 2 is faster than 1. I'll stick with 2 for now. Let's wrap up. We got some time here, but I think this is all working. So let's come back next episode. We'll use the ultimate, or the star shards to try and get ourselves a stupid amount of EMC. And then also let's start looking into making the creative mode items, because I think we're getting towards the end of the series here for sure. So let's look into getting some of these things just for funs. All right, for now, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We do need the final star in order to make the creative fluid tank, so we will definitely be making more of these. Remember, this final star is going to be 8 of these. We should math out how many of these we make. I can probably throw this into the AE system and then do the math on what the final star is going to actually cost me. But, yeah, fun times. All right, wrapping up point. Darryl20 signing off. Take it easy.